Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe to Love, here with another AEW Dynamite review for November 16th, 2022. Gearing that time for the final, I guess you could say, the Golem Show before Full Gear and the final edition of Dynamite before the Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite next week. But our Thanksgiving Eve edition. Nonetheless, this was a Golem show and was okay. So, Full Gear pay per view this Saturday night. It's looking like a good card. Let me get that out of the way. It's looking like a good card. You know, obviously headlined by MJF versus John Moxley, the last pay per view of the year. What should be the crowning moment, finally, of MJF being the AEW World Champion. But I see that the build toward this pay per view has been not what it could be, not what it could have been. You know, everything stemming from last pay per view, All Out, what happened at the media scrum, what happened between CM Punk and the Elite, and all who was involved in that big fight post All Out. You know, I can understand if some things were on the back burner because Punk won the world title, he got hurt, then, you know, everything happens with the Elite. The Elite win the Trios titles, those get vacated, the world title gets vacated, and, you know, plans change. Plans change. That the Death Triangle become the new champions who will conveniently face the Elite for the trio titles this Saturday at Full Gear, which should be a great match, but you you get the sense that the build has not been or has been left to be desired pretty much the last number of weeks. And I'm hyped for majority matches on this card currently. I mean, you know, MJF versus John Moxley, obviously no there. Soraya versus Britt Baker. Curious to see how Soraya looks. First time wrestling in 5-6 years since her neck injury. So curious to see how that looks. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. Should be a good match between the women. Curious to see how Hayter, how she brings her momentum and, do we I don't think we see Thunder Rosa for a while, but something to think about with her back injury. Jack Perry versus Luchasaurus steel cage match on Saturday should be fun as well. An interesting scenario to see how both guys look because still Christian Cage is injured. You got the tag team match between Swerver and Glory and the Acclaimed. Should be a fun match. I mean, I'm hyped for. I don't think anyone's not hyped for the matches. The match, like I said, the matches may deliver. It's just how we got here hasn't been the same. But nonetheless, thoughts about Full Gear. Now let's get into the review for Dynamite. But before, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more pro wrestling reviews, AEW reviews, etc., you can find more videos on the homepage. Take you all pro wrestling and sports related. Find them on the homepage. Just click this subscription there in the corner. Thank you. Let's get into it, shall we? Pull up my notes really quick, 1 sec, for Wednesday's edition of Dynamite. So, show start off with tag team match between Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Claudio, Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson. Bit of a preview for the full-way Ring of Honor World title match on Saturday, which should be a good one. This was a good preview, though, before we get to Saturday. So, after Bryan was getting beat up for most of the match, Claudio came in with a big tag, a big offense on Jericho, followed with a big uppercut by Claudio for a near fall. Jericho walked in the wall. Good counter. So Claudio is going for the big swing, but thanks to Sammy and wound up being a catapult, Jericho landed on the turnbuckle, jumped over Claudio, walked in the walls, as Sammy hit a tope to the outside on Bryan. Jericho walked in the walls. Claudio got out of it thanks to a missile dropkick by Bryan for a separation. Finally, Claudio, after some big offense and Sammy was taken out of it, hit the big swing as Jericho tried to use the bat. But to no avail, as Jericho took the big swing with the bat in hand. Claudio took the bat, walked in the sharpshooter, Jericho tapped, and Claudio and Bryan get the victory. So, Pro Wrestling 101. It seems like Claudio was not going to win back the Ring of Honor title on Saturday, but see how it goes. Should be a fun match nonetheless. We have vignettes from Darby Allin and Sting. So, Sting was driving a. Well, actually, first, so Jeff Jarrett said on his debut that there will be full body bags when he's done with AEW. So, Sting was driving a car with a body bag in the back filled with Darby Allin. And Darby unzipped it and jumped to the front. And camera zoomed on Sting, who was driving the car. He said, "Full gear, huh?" It's showtime. So, Darby and Singh for Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Definitely one of my least intrigued matches on the card, but hopefully it can at least deliver for what it's worth. So we got Anthony Bowens versus Swerve Strickland. But before the match, after Bowens made his entrance, the Acclaimed released their premiere of their new music video. And that was fun. So it showed them interviewing Captain Insano, aka Paul White, aka backstage, aka The Big Show, and in a living room was Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, Sneaky Swerve, who was basically dressed up like a cat burglar. And, you know, the music video was just fun. Just fun, Definitely gonna be a good match on Saturday, but this music video was just on top for the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. So, Swerve came out, and this is a good match. This is a good match between the two. Um, of course, Billy Gunn came out, tackled Swerve, tried to beat on him before the match. When he was escorted backstage. Finally, they fought near ringside. Bowens actually got thrown over the top rope or thrown to the crowd. Back in the ring, Bowens showed some fight. Swerve hit a punt kick along with the Swerve Stomp for a near fall, but Swerve hit the JML driver for the win. You know, Swerve gets the victory on the Bowens. Does he turn on Keith Lee and go heel at the pay-per-view? We shall see. But I'm hyped for this rubber match between the two teams. Samoa Joe had an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone, and he was very animated, explaining why he attacked Wardlow last week. Saying how it made everyone feel after what Wardlow said, trying to take all the titles, including his. Joe was just very animated throughout this interview, and you know, Joe is great as a heel, babyface or heel. Joe is great. Out came Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs and Sissy come down there and take care of Joe, beat him up, and then we hear Wardlow's music. And Wardlow comes from behind, tackles Joe, and a big brawl ensues between the three. You know, the whole locker room, most of the locker room came out and to try to stop this brawl between the three. Ultimately, Wardlow hit big tope for a guy his size. Tope over the top on pretty much all these guys at ringside trying to get to Joe. Just melee. And it's announced that a three-way match will take place, or a triple threat, between Hobbs, Wardlow, and Joe Saturday. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be a fun match, but you know, neither guy can lose. Neither guy can lose, and seemingly this feud has been. You get my point. You get my point. Excuse me, just trying to clear all these tabs on my phone really quick. Get back to my notes. So, next we got Britt Baker. Britt Baker seemingly felt disrespected by what Saray said about her last week. Britt fired back saying, well, for 3 years, she's only been here for 3 years, but she's honed her craft and she's gotten better and better, and she's come to a point of being the heart and soul and the pulse of AEW, to the point where whenever she says it, people feel it, saying Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. This was a good promo. Good promo by Britt. You know, very good. You got Dead Triangle for Top Flight and AR Fox. Top Flight. It's good to see him back. Darius Martin. I mean, back with his brother Dante. So, Darius, you know, of course, the very young tag team of Top Flight. Last year, Darius, you know, suffered that ACL injury. Came back this year, but went away, had a motorcycle accident, they said. And he is now hopefully back fully healthy. And with AR Fox, who really shined out, really impressed this match. I haven't seen him much, but he definitely showed out in this match. So he had moonsault to the outside on the triangle, then back in him senton, top go for a near fall, was broken up. Yeah, showcase for AR Fox. He had a tope fall with a 450 for a near fall. Dead triangle one here. Fear Factor, Black Arrow by Pac. 1, 2, 3. And the Dead Triangle retain their trio styles. Another note about Dante Martin. So, he lost, apparently, it's Brian Cage in the quarterfinal matchup of the AEW World Title Eliminator. So, last week on Rampage. So, but it will be a bit different for the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. So, Ricky Starks versus Lance Archer will take place on Rampage. Quarterfinal matchup. And then the winner of that, presumably Ricky Starks, although I would like to see Lance Archer get more momentum finally behind him. Winner of that will face Brian Cage on the 0 Hour pre-show for Full Gear. And the winner of that will face Ethan Page on next week's Dynamite on Wednesday. So the World Title Eliminator Tournament will not culminate at Full Gear, which I mean, more things to pay attention to. And, you know, if the match was going to be rushed towards Full Gear, would have been another match lost in the shuffle of this pay-per-view. So, you know, I'm good with it. I'm good with that. And afterwards, Pac took the microphone, said that they've seen the rumors, they've seen the videos, and subtly called out the Elite. So then we saw another eerie video of a clock, and it showed the graphic. Trios Championships for Full Gear. On one side, the triangle. On the other side, like in a whisper of the wind, the Elite. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks will make their return on Full Gear to regain the titles they never lost. And should be a fun match. Could still the show. It could still the show on Saturday. Pac said that the real question shouldn't be, are we ready? Like what we should be saying is, we're waiting for you. And Penta took the microphone and said, because we have zero miedo. I'm hyped for that match on Full Gear. It should be fun. You know, the trio titles need momentum. They're another title that need momentum, and perhaps after Full Gear, once MJF wins the world title, once the Elite are back, that momentum can really pick up for AEW again with these titles and these feuds. Ricky Starks cut a promo backstage, and how he wasn't medically cleared last week thanks to Lance Archer. But no, he doesn't speak in ifs, ands, or maybes. He speaks in absolutes, saying that why don't we start the match on Rampage in the back, or he rips off his braids and chokes him out with them. And then he's on the way to being #1 contender for the AEW World title. So, speaking of the World title in there, semifinals for the AEW World title eliminated tournament. Ethan Page versus Bandido. Good match between two. Ethan Page, very underrated. Bandido, it's only really his third AEW match, and it's been solid. So, back and forth. Bandido hit a moonsault to the outside. He hit a twisting splash off the top for a near fall. Page hit a springboard cutter in for a near fall. Bandido, he hit a Hurricanrana. Press slam, one arm. Shrank by Bandido, and a frog slash for a near fall. Bandido went for 21 plex. Page count. Page hit diving shoulder off the top. Then hit the Eagle's Edge to Bandido for the win. And Ethan Page advances to the finals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. Saraya cut nice promo backstage. She knows how she came here. She wanted to come here. She's excited for the opportunity. She wants to face the best. And that she's done talking about this match. She respects Britt, but she's coming to beat her ass at Full Gear. Toni Storm for Santa J. Match was okay. Anna J is not really fitting as a member of the JS. It's just not really working. And the match was okay. Storm hit a hip attack, knocking Jay to the outside. Ultimately, Storm hit another hip attack in the ring, followed Texas Cloverleaf, and the Jay tapped out. And then out came Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, and Rebel. Hayter and Storm came face to face. The match is on for Saturday. See how it rolls. See how it rolls. So that was seemingly the main event, but Jon Moxley and William Regal, they were in the ring. Moxley talked about how last week he doubted who is Jon Moxley, but now he's curious who is MJF. Moxley taught that his love for agony, his love for pain, his love for adrenaline, and he wants to know who MJF is. And he called out MJF. Out came Stokely Hathaway. And the rest of the firm came down to beat up on Jon Moxley and William Regal. Out came MJF for the save. Took out the Gun Club. Took out Morrissey with a low blow. Same with Page. Friendly fire. And MJF said that on Saturday he won't need the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Right, Regal. Right, Will. So, said Moxley, while you look to be as uncomfortable as you possibly can, says that he needs that title. He needs that AEW World Championship more than he needs water, more than he needs air, more than he needs oxygen. And that on Saturday, it is his time. And because he's better than you and you. So Moxley came up in a jiff, came face to face with Max. Said, "We'll see if you have it right here." Pointed to his gut. If not, he'll rip it out of him. And reach in to see what he ultimately has. Because that's his job. And Moxley kept saying Sunday, but it is held that it'll be on Saturday, the pay-per-view. Now he probably doesn't have what it takes. But we will find out. So finally they came face to face with and William Regal to the side and having some words, and that was how Dynamite went off the air. The Golem Show for Dynamite before Full Gear. Not a bad AEW Dynamite, but again, like I said, the belt has been left to be desired. But we'll see how it culminates on Saturday, ultimately. But we'll see. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. That's the end of the podcast. Oh, by the way, for Full Gear, May not be home this weekend, but I should have a full gear review, AEW full gear review, up for either Monday or Tuesday. We'll see how it goes, but I will have an AEW full gear review up sometime next week. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. If you're new to podcasts and want to see and you like this video, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. How about the video? How about the channel? But thank you all. Be safe. I'm Joe Turn Love. See you guys next week. Adios. Peace.